Scott, obviously there's been lots of reflecting on the other night and lots of reaction to the remarkable end to that game. I just wondered, watching it and listening to some of the reaction afterwards, younger players that you are week in, week out giving chances to, Trafford, we've talked about Egan Riley before. I just wondered how much character these guys are showing by learning on the job and cutting their teeth in the sort of full spotlight of the Championship, and how much credit they deserve for that.
Yeah, I think firstly it's a great question, because I think probably it's something that probably is not probably seen. That you just see a performance from these young players at this present moment in time, and certainly as this season's set out, and they've done remarkably well. But these are young players. There's just two you mentioned there. There's more in the squad as well, and I think I've referenced it before. Young players in experiencing things in a 90 minutes game of football, and experience things throughout this season what they've not experienced before. And character-wise, I think I've seen every bit of that quality as well. I think at times they are learning on the job. And then they're not surprising me. If anything, they're standing up every day, becoming stronger and better. Look, I'm a coach that believes in the young players, and I think that's probably evident over the course of my coaching career in terms of the clubs I've been at, and trying to give the young players an opportunity first and foremost. They have to take that, and them two boys, what you spoke about there, have definitely took that. And the other night was a massive moment for Trav. Really, I was delighted for him, because I think. It's been well documented. He had a tough time last year. I think internally as well, to be fair, in terms of everything, and he's come through it, and he's become a much stronger character. And obviously this year he's done remarkably well, really.
What kind of a tone does it set within a group of players? Because even if they're not within your first team group at the moment, they might be with the under-21s. You'll have a lot of young players who want to be top-level professionals. Do you think that them looking at the fact that it doesn't always go right, you might have a season where you do make high-profile mistakes, like Trafford, or you might have to wait 2 years to make your impact on the team like Egan Riley's done? Can that, we talk a lot about experienced players being leaders, but can these younger guys almost lead by example?
The ones in the team can. Look, the world we live in is very instant now, so it's very, very difficult. The world that the younger generation are brought up in is instant. It's expect and want, and the facts of reality are, certainly in professional sports, sometimes there's a long journey, or there is a journey, and you have to buy time, you have to improve. I think the one thing you do need is you need a light of opportunity, or you need to see a football club that, or coaches or players what are in them positions, one was been given an opportunity. So I think that's massive, really. And like always, look, when you're a young boy growing up, or you want to aspire to be someone, you're probably not looking at the seasoned professional, what's already there. You probably can relate to someone much younger. So yeah, for sure, that's vitally important for the younger boys at this club. Makes a massive difference, really.
And I guess even those that are playing regularly, I mean, you're getting Hannibal back this weekend, for example, this week, should I say, for example. How important is it that you learn from the experiences? You take not just the positives, actually, because I think a lot of the time you take more from when it does go wrong.
Yeah, definitely the case. Yeah, you never really take any not positives, but there's probably no lesser room for improvement when things are going well, if I'm being honest with you, and you never get to where you need to get to without the crap or the adversity or the bad performances, the bad results. They're really the most powerful moments to learn. And as young players, that's what you need. You need to understand the journey, and you need to be very stable in that. You need to be realistic. You need to work, of course, and it's cliche, of course, it is, but working hard and a real understanding gets you to that position. So they're the demands on, and they're the difficulties for coaches, because you realise when you're young there is elements of mistakes, and young players will make mistakes, and there needs to be an element of patience with that. But if you've got young players that have an understanding of it and work through them moments and keep improving, then they're on the right track.
On Hannibal specifically, is it less about what he did to get himself banned and more how he reacts to it and from this point forward?
Yeah, look, we was here 3 weeks ago when Hannibal did what he did, and that was a clear mistake. And you know, he crossed the line that night, and he understands that he's made a costly error, which the team at that present moment in time suffered. And since then, Hannibal suffered because he's been out for 3 games. He's come out of a team. People have took that position. You know, there's been an element of punishment. Now he, like always, he needs to understand that, which I'm sure he will. Not make the same mistake again. Maybe he will make the same mistake again, and that's what young players sometimes do. My feeling is he'll learn from that.
As far as your schedule is concerned, I think it's less than ideal to go to Plymouth on a Wednesday night. I understand you have to play these long-distance fixtures sometimes. I just wonder about the logistics and the forward planning that goes into the amount of travelling you're doing at the moment. In a football sense, you, I'm sure, will say to me, I'm concentrating on the next game and that's what we're focused on. Is it impossible to not have an eye on the distance you're going to be travelling, the hours you're going to be spending in hotels, in buses, on planes, whatever it may be?
No, it's definitely, there's, of course, you're always focused on the game, but there's definitely some thought process around the schedule, what them demands are going to be, training times, when you need to come off players, when you don't. You know, we're really fortunate, and I'm really fortunate, and us as players and the players are really fortunate that we have a team around us that can navigate and logistically get us into places where we travel, where it's as easy for us as possible. And I think if there's anyone who probably should be complaining about the schedule, is our fans, because due to FA Cup draws and the travel over the last 3 or 4 weeks has been pretty relentless for our supporters, and I understand the demands of what that brings, and late nights getting back, maybe missing work the following day. So yeah, I suppose I'm very conscious of that. Regarding us, like I said, really, Dan, we're in safe hands, we're in good hands, we're in fortunate position that we obviously fed well, and the players travel in the best and quickest way to get us to optimum levels in games, really.
Is there a bit of psychology about that? If you suggest a player might be tired, is that player more likely to feel tired? If you tell the player we've prepared fantastically, they're probably less likely to be tired.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's my job, really, and I suppose that's my job, what I'm always conscious of. And of course, look, we came out of a Christmas period which was pretty relentless, and I was fully aware of the demands, and I'm constantly aware of demands on current day players, very different to when I was coming through. Them demands were there, but the demands on players and the level of what the physicality of the game's gone on, I'm very conscious of how you balance that psychologically. The messaging you're giving to the team is always at the forefront of my mind. And then obviously the practicalness of travel, the practicalness of training loads, when we need to come off, when we need to step on things, they're always at the fundamental part of where I'm seeing things, really.
You mentioned the supporters there, and I think a lot of football scheduling doesn't bear them in mind in any way. Obviously you want to win every week, obviously you appreciate their support every week, but when you go to somewhere that's so far away and you look at that away end and however many there are in there, is there an appreciation of the sort of extra effort that goes in?
There's an incredible appreciation, absolutely incredible appreciation. To think that on Wednesday night we travel to Plymouth 8 o'clock, 7:45, whatever the kickoff is, and our fans and the supporters will come and travel down to that stadium. Like absolutely me, and obviously I'm sitting here speaking, but that message is constant to these players as well. Like the appreciation, the dedication, the time, the effort that these people, our fans, are going to come and support their local, their team is, yeah, I have absolute full admiration for it. And I understand the demands, I understand the stresses, and I suppose it probably highlights how much our supporters and the people who are travelling love this football club, love this team, and want us to do well, really. So be under no illusions, and certainly I would never be sitting here. I totally understand, and I appreciate however many fans we come in. Same at Reading, same at any other game we've had, and certainly these ones, which are obviously a bit more testing.
Do you think modern football has more of an eye on TV supporters than in the stadium fans? Is that an inevitable change with the scheduling and the TV deal and games being moved for streaming and stuff?
Maybe that is the case, but I suppose what that brings is does it make our league better in the long run? Is there more sponsors? Is there more finances? So, look, I think, like I said, for us as players, me as coaches, and us as a football club, them demands are what them demands are, and we put ourselves in the best place, and we have the best people around us navigating us around it. The fans are probably the ones what see the worst side of that, really.
Plymouth Argyle in a football sense, then. There's been a managerial change there recently. They are not in the greatest of form. I think if we were talking in a cup context, we'd be saying, oh, you've got to be wary of that. Is that the same in the league when you go in an unbeaten run and they're on a winless run? Yeah,
this ain't going to be an easy game on Wednesday night. A new manager comes in. I think he's had 2 games now. They're a team, of course they are, where they are in the league, and how they've done in current form. I really take no reference to that in that sense. If we don't turn up here on Wednesday night with the right attitude, the right mentality, this will prove a very, very tough game for us. So as always, we need to be fully aware, and we need to approach this game like we've approached the majority of games this year, to give us the best platform to obviously go and win this game, really. So I suspect an aggressive team, a team that are wanting to come to try and cause us as many problems as they can in their home stadium, and we need to be fully aware, which we will, and us to oppose ourselves on this game like we have done for the majority of this year, really.
And we've talked a few times about maybe the differences playing away from home and the mentality of the opposition when you're the away team. Is this perhaps a good example of that? Would you see a Plymouth Argyle team doing something different at the turf compared to in their own stadium?
Maybe, but in terms of the new coach what's come in, I expect him to come and give us a game here. These teams what have been in Belgium as well, an aggressive team that want to try and put you under pressure and come with a real intensity to their game. So I suspect that's the way it will look this game. I think it's fair. Look, away games obviously become a little bit more open, because obviously the home team want to try and oppose themselves a little bit more. But like I said, I think this game will be an intense game for us.
More than enough from me, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Scott. You've got Hannibal back. Is there anyone else that could likely be back for this one?
No, I think Hannibal's the only one who will be back from suspension.
Of those players we talked about in previous weeks that are back in training now, is there one standout one that's closer than others?
Nathan Redmond's training with us now. So is Benny. Benny's training. I'm trying to think of anyone else. They're the main 2. Enoch is not training fully with us, but he's on the grass and he's progressing in the right way. Same with Aaron. But the 2 what are back training with us are Nathan and Benny. But still nowhere near, or not say nowhere near, they're training with us, but they still need a lot more work with the group and more loading, really.
And with Jordan Baird, just expect that to still be a lengthy one with him?
Yeah, I think it will, yeah. Jordan's progressing in the right way. Really pleased with Jordan. He's out the treatment room. He's in the treatment room still, but look, we've seen signs of him walking around the training facility with his boots on, and not getting carried away, because he's literally just walking around. He's progressing in the right way, and he's going in the right direction after a big surgery. So yeah, pleased with him.
You're on this great unbeaten run, which you talked about plenty of times, 15 games now, I think it is. What is the next step now? It is to build on that and turn some of these draws into wins to keep up with the likes of Leeds and Sheffield United, who obviously won at the weekend.
Yeah, I think that would be the case. I think we are on an unbeaten run. I think there's still elements to our game where we need to keep improving, and I think that's pretty evident. And I think you're right, Matt, that some of these games sort of ended in draws, probably taking the other night out of that, because I think we see how that game could have looked. Trying to turn some of these draws into 3 points will be big for us, and that's probably going to be the aim, really.